Welcome everybody to another episode of the Three Count. We're gonna go over NXT Takeover 30 because you gotta be careful when you look it up on the web. Not XXX, but it's 30. I'm here with your boy Benny and my other boy Jaquan. Let's go.
Master of the sharpshooter right here.
All right, so this is NXT 30. Man, it's crazy how these numbers be flying by. So far there's 6 matches on the card, with one of them currently on the preliminary show, and this looks like an interesting card to me. It looks like it's gonna be fun to watch. Even with the gimmick match of Adam Cole and Pat McAfee.
Listen, y'all need to stop sleeping on my boy Pat McAfee. If I gotta drop a hot take right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's not act like this is new news that WWE has not been doing this for years. Pat McAfee is actually damn near genius on the mic. I've watched his show for a long time. Top 5 trash talkers in the world right now. I tell you that straight up. Not even for a punter. He'll talk trash. He's got better mic skills than half of WWE, and I'll come out and say that right now.
Yeah, but I
mean, again, he got in shape for his wedding. Dude's in shape. Now, can he wrestle? I don't know. But at this point, people talk about, guys like Kenny Omega and Adam Cole as if they're Shawn Michaels and they can wrestle a broom. If he can wrestle a broom, then Pat McAfee's going to look great. Yeah. So I don't understand why this is such a big problem. And at this point, think about it this way. They have 2 choices right now. Either Adam Cole is the leader of Retribution, and he's moving to SmackDown anyway, or this is a way to keep Adam Cole in NXT and keep him away from Vince McMahon.
We'll get to all that.
But I'm saying,
especially after tonight's SmackDown,
you guys really, like, people really want to get upset that Adam Cole is better than this and blah blah blah. If you want to make Adam Cole a larger than life star, not just among the wrestling community, because the only people that know him is the wrestling community. No one knows who Adam Cole is.
I mean,
regardless. People outside of wrestling don't know who Adam Cole is.
It's not even just that. People forget that Hulk Hogan fought Zeus, the made-up character from a movie, an actor, Tiny, from Friday. He fought. Then you had David Arquette, who was WCW champion. Yeah, whatever. You might be upset about it, but still. I mean, you had all this. You had Dennis Rodman.
You had Dennis Rodman coming in during the Bulls' historic playoff run to be on the NWO. Like,
Lawrence Taylor go against Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah,
I was just about to bring that up. You can talk about another football player. The guy got in shape in order to make the match, and he was in the main event of WrestleMania. So I'm pretty sure Pat McAfee can make the transition to it.
That's what I'm saying.
He's gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right. The fact is, like we'll get into it when we get to it. You know what I'm saying? But let's start with the preliminary match. Breezango versus Only in Birch and Llegando del Fantasma. This is a 3-way number 1 contender match for the tag team championship.
All right, this can go one of like 2, maybe 3 ways. I don't see Breezango winning because I feel like they're in NXT, they're doing great work, and they're both happy, but they're basically there to put over talent. We all know this. They're there to build storylines. They're there to help other people build. Like, Tyler Breeze is a coach now of his own, school. So at this point, for me, they're there to put young talent over, and that's fine because he's not going to be Prince Pretty anymore. He's not going to get a run at a singles title match. So why not use him to enhance a tag division that needs it? So they're not winning. The thing with Oni and Birch is their time to win was that banger they put on with the Undisputed Era. Both guys look a little slow. Both guys look a little out of sync. So it's like, could they win? Sure. But if they win, then that means, to me, they're only going to have another banger with Imperium to lose again. And that's fine, but it's still kind of boring. So, I mean, at least with you can translate for me because I can't say these fools' names. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm not even going to disrespect all my Spanish people. I love y'all. I'm not going to even disrespect you like that. I'm going to let Paul translate whatever the hell this team's name is.
Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, what he said. They are in a uniquely prime position where both guys are known for anyone who's followed cruiserweights and have watched, 205 Live. So, like, I know both those guys are immensely talented. Putting them on a stage with Imperium, who, in terms of style, is so different from them, even if they lose, they win, because it puts more focus on them separate from the Cruiserweight champion. Now, if they win, you have the Cruiserweight and the tag titles now at the forefront, and you get to push both titles. Because right now, the Cruiserweight Championship is kind of dry because all of the actual fun people WWE keeps firing, like Leo Rush and Enzo Amore. They keep firing all the people that I actually like that can be on the mic. And then Cedric is long gone, and Ali is long gone. So, I mean, the Cruiserweight division is kind of sad right now. But that's beside the point. It's a great way to build the tag division. It's a great way to build the Cruiserweight division. So that tag team, whose name I will not butcher, I have winning this match.
All right. The only wrong answer in this situation is Breezango. I agree with absolutely everything Jaquan said. However, I'm going to go the other way simply because of the fact that Lorcan and Birch have been in NXT for a while, and this isn't necessarily a like a prediction type pick. This is what I want to happen. I want to see them get their run with the tag titles before they inevitably end up on the main roster and inevitably get ruined.
Or end up as coaches, because both them motherfuckers is old. Well, yeah. At least Birch is. Birch is definitely old.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, I want to see them get their run first.
All right. So I'm going to agree with Jay and say Legado de Fantasma is going to win this, and also say that Breezango's taking the pin. It's gonna be a good match. It's gonna go so many different ways. Only in Birch is gonna bring like the power and all that, The high flying is gonna come from Breezango and Legado de Fantasma with those two teams. There'll be a lot of high flying moves over there. So I feel they're gonna have a little mini run with the tag titles and with the Cruiserweight. So that's gonna be fun to watch how they're gonna do that one and where they're gonna go with that. So yeah, I agree. I got Legado that's not winning it.
Also, side note, you also have to look at the fact that Imperium can't actually be complete at the moment, because it doesn't make sense for Imperium to continue to feud with Undisputed Era when Imperium isn't at full strength, because their other two guys are right now dealing with the travel ban.
Yeah, right. I think they're gonna hold on that one for when this is over, maybe next year.
Yeah,
I think that's why I think Tripp's gonna try and hold UE for that one.
Yeah, so I feel like if you're going to have a team, if you're gonna have UE challenge and do this whole thing that they're doing, which I think would be it's a really good thing to try and get back to what made them great. I think that, say the name again.
Legado de Fantasma.
And the Cruiserweight champion, that whole stable is way more equipped to deal with the Undisputed Era's numbers. And
I thought there's only three in that one. In that
there
stable.
I'm saying they're much better equipped.
Okay. Like because they're smaller, not that big. Like it'll make it more feasible, like a realistic type.
Right.
I get you.
And I feel like this is leading to maybe them gaining another member. I don't know who, but again, there are a smorgasbord of. Well, actually, now that I think about it, it could be a very good way for one of the Lucha House Party who seem to have been breaking up to go back down to NXT and immediately end up in the storyline. And in that sense, you again put the Cruiserweight title at the forefront. And I don't know how big Roderick Strong is. He ain't that thick though. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he may fall into that 205 range. And you may even see, I don't think Adam Cole's going to compete for the Cruiserweight title. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying that having that title prominent and having a faction as popular as UE feuding with that title just in the mind's eye will do wonders for the title. I think that at this point they will kind of separate Adam Cole, like he'll be there but he won't be there kind of situation. Like when he was going for the North American and the NXT titles, they'll have him doing his own thing, but he'll still be the leader of UE, and you'll start to see Roderick Strong again step up, or even Kyle O'Reilly maybe. Like they may just use another guy who's more equipped to handle a cruiserweight and possibly get a singles run for somebody else that's not Roderick Strong or Adam Cole.
That's what the world needs, more Kyle O'Reilly.
Listen, it's true. The man is a gem for wrestling. The man he's ridiculously talented. He's great on the mic, and his comedic timing it's better than most people in the company. So I mean, it does wonders for everyone involved if they go that route, but knowing WWE, they won't, and they'll screw it up. But I'm hoping Trips has something in mind for this, because I feel like it could be really, really dope.
Yeah, I could see them doing something like that. I'm just looking at the roster right now, NXT, and see who could actually fit in with them.
I honestly feel like it's someone from Lucha House Party, because the timing is just a little too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll be Grand Metalik because he's a little too much of a saint, but I could see what's the guy in the lion mask? I don't remember what the heck his name is.
Lindsay Dorado.
Yes, I can see Lindsay coming back and being a heel, because he seems very heelish to me.
Yeah, because the only one right now on the roster that I can see can pull it off is Damian Priest.
I mean, I don't see Damian Priest completely flipping his character and joining up with those dudes.
Well, we'll get to him in a minute.
I don't think that's going to be a thing. Like, I don't see that.
It's either him or Arturo Ruas. I mean,
that's not a terrible fit.
It's not, but it's not like he was built up as anything strong. He's been like a jobber.
And again, if you're going to establish a jobber at this point, you could have a situation where he has a throwaway match and does get a win and then gets jumped, and then those guys help him. And then they kind of, you have the whole like handshake thing where it's like, all right, I guess I'll play with you guys. And then you plant the seeds later for that whole breakup to happen, and you have a built-in feud, because he wasn't necessarily a bad guy. He just needed backup.
It's going to be Dominic.
Yeah. I was just thinking that, and I'm like, that would actually be really dope, and it'd be a good way to introduce him, but we know he's not going to NXT. So, much as I'd love to see him in NXT,
it'd be nice. Because
I'd love to see him in NXT.
Because of the fact that you can hide him with that faction, and he's down there training at the same time.
I mean, I get that, but you can't go from a SummerSlam match with Seth Rollins to NXT.
I get you.
That's the truth. Yeah,
we spoke about this already too. Is like we haven't seen this kid actually wrestle, so we don't even know how polished.
I've seen him do a 619, and he's about 6 foot, about 6'4", 6'5". So I mean,
he did look different. Too. He did a flip too, and I'm like, all right, cool, but those are a couple of moves. That's not a match. You know what I mean?
For 6'4", 6'5", like homeboy looking Randy Orton in the nose.
Let me step in. Bro. Let me step in real quick. Honestly, one thing that, and Jaquan, you just brought it up, the 619 thing. When he did that 619, I'm assuming you're talking about the first time he did it, when it was him and Ray hitting Brock. The mere fact that Brock Lesnar allowed him to do that,
that says a lot.
That should actually say something.
That's a rub. I forgot. I was talking about the one where he hit Rollins. Was just him and Seth, and he hit Rollins with it, and it was like, okay, Dominique got a little something. I forgot about the Brock thing.
Oh no,
you're right. That definitely does say a lot.
But you got to think though, it was with Ray, so he might have taken that because of Ray, out of respect for Ray. We don't know.
But there was another one when there was another one before the kendo stick thing. He hit one on Seth when it was just him and Seth in the ring. He hit one on Seth by himself, and that looked clean. Like he could hit him with one of those and then come back in the ring and hit him with a power bomb. Because Dominic looks like he's a power guy. Like he looks like he can go between athleticism and power, and like very not Luchasaurus, but
Somewhat.
in that realm where he can switch styles.
I think he could be like a Luchasaurus, but more polished. Because Luchasaurus
Yeah.
is not that bad. I like his style, but it just looks like he has a couple botches
He's
here.
too big. He's too big. That's the problem. He's too big for the style. Dominic is that nice middle ground where he can be athletic and be lucha, but then still add that
Power.
have that big man presence about him. Because people forget, like Randy Orton's like 6'4", 6'5". Dominic is about maybe between 6'2" and 6'5". I'll give him that. Homeboy ain't small. Like, he looked like he could throw you, like, it looked like his finisher should be that pop-up powerbomb that Kevin Owens just decided to not do anymore.
Well, he gets that from his dad. What's it called?
His height?
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace.
Eddie Guerrero was like 6'1". Eddie was like 6'1". He was bigger than Eddie too. Eddie wasn't that tall.
That's what I'm saying. You think he got his height from his daddy? From Rey Mysterio?
Listen,
he got his
it
height
might have been his mom's.
It's true.
He got from his other dad.
Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace.
Who we got next, man?
It would be dope to see him do the Three Amigos, though.
Yeah, that would be dope. He probably would too. You know.
Well, I'm hearing rumors that he's going there. The storyline is eventually going to happen where Ray does retire and he gives the mask to Dominic, and he's going to go under the moniker of Prince Mysterio.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's gonna happen. So eventually they're gonna put Ray's face on TV.
I hate when they do that because the thing is, like, we already saw his face. So the whole point of wearing the mask is you don't see the rest of his face. You know what I'm saying? The whole point of the mask, from what I remember in Lucha Libre, is the ability for them to walk out on the street and you don't know who they are.
And for the person, and for the character to live on after the actual person playing it.
Exactly, that's another one too. And the thing is like in WCW they messed up so bad because they removed the mask from Rey Mysterio.
Right.
And it's crazy because when I see his like Instagram, he's like hiding his face. I was like, my guy, we've seen you already. Back in the day, we saw your face.
But I mean, I guess for a lot of the newer fans, like most of the newer fans have never seen his face.
I was gonna say, then again, if you think about it, Ray is what, like 40 something right now,
that's what I'm
and
saying.
He still has the face of a 16-year-old. That wouldn't look right.
Honestly, I feel like even though you've seen Dominic's face, if he wears it long enough, people are gonna forget.
Here's the crazy thing: Dominic is 23. That boy still like he's 17.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's some good genes,
man.
Some good genes. I don't know what they.
You'll be saying black and crack, but I'm saying brown don't smile. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not listen, bro. Y'all right up there with us because that boy looked like he literally just got bigger and is still the same age from that promo he cut with Eddie Guerrero a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Next match on the card, we got Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. Benny, what's your thoughts?
I honestly don't have thoughts on this one. I'm just gonna say Thatcher because I believe Balor is down there just to make people look damn good. And I aside from him going into an actual championship feud, and I'm talking about NXT championship feud, I don't see any reason for him to take this one. Thatcher is he's on the up and up. He's the one that pretty much retired Matt Riddle from NXT and sent him up to the main roster. So, like, honestly, what I want to see them do and what I believe they're going to do is put the rocket on him. So, that's my thoughts on the matter.
I could see it, but I think what they're doing is they're rebuilding Finn Balor's mystique that he had from his previous run, where he was damn near undefeated at takeovers. And even though, again, Finn Balor is already established, notice how long he disappears. So I think that's a part of his mystique. And I think Balor does take it, but he's going to take it, but give Thatcher, like, he's going to give him a good rub. It's going to be a good match. He's going to get a good rub. But, again, Thatcher himself isn't established. Like, he's like Damian Priest when Damian Priest fought Dream the first time. Like, you knew who Damian Priest was, and he was on the up and up, but he wasn't established enough to beat a guy like Dream. Like, that's how I feel about Thatcher at this point. If he does win, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think that they're gonna put the rocket on him just yet. Like, he's in that next group of guys that I guess you can say is up next. Because think about it, they already put the strap on Cross. They're rocketing Cross. I've already seen promos of him having the NXT Championship, so I don't even think Keith Lee's gonna have a long run.
All right. Can you hold that till we get to that match? Golly, man.
I do got to ask you though. You said that they're trying to build up the mystique or whatever. Do you believe him disappearing this last time was them building up the mystique, or was that COVID?
Well, considering he lives in the States, I think it may have been a little bit of both. But at the same time, when you're constantly posting pictures of you on a beach on some kind of tropical island, I don't think you're that worried about COVID.
I don't know.
I follow him on Instagram, so it's like, bro, you're not that worried about COVID, fam.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is that Balor at this point, which is what he should have been during his run in WWE the first time, he isn't a guy you have on every week unless he's your world champion. He's a guy that you bring on out of nowhere, doesn't have to say much, but when he says something, it means something. And when he fights, he fights.
See, that's the problem with WWE, though, is they're so into this mindset of we got to keep the wrestler on the TV all the time, instead of like saying, hey, look, we're writing a story, but you're not going to be in all the time because we want people to like remember, hey, remember that. Like, and that's the problem because they have a roster where they can have a storyline begin on Monday, on like this Monday, start on this Monday, start there, take a week off, bring it back up again, and they'll have to be consistently on there or remind or do like a vignette or something to keep it going. But the wrestlers don't have to wrestle.
No,
you have a roster heavy enough where you can carry other storylines.
Yeah,
and I feel it's like they don't want to put too many storylines out there because they don't want to confuse the fans. But you know what? Try it out. You never know. It might work.
Like the simple fact that like tonight they had Naomi lose to Sasha but beat Bayley.
Right.
Now what happens if Asuka beats Sasha but doesn't beat Bayley? Now you have a built-in challenger, and it's a story. It's a story that was built all the way back during the stupid karaoke contest. You put the strap back on Naomi, you have a built-in Lacey Evans run that you haven't seen Lacey Evans in a while now. If she comes back and she's polished and she's good and she can get over, now you got something.
Yeah.
You know, you still got Dana Brooke, who literally just needs mic skills at this point. Like, she's had a couple of good runs, and it's like, the problem with Dana Brooke is, can you trust her? Carmella still hasn't come back. Sonya Deville may or may not be gone, but then Mandy Rose is still, at this point, after this match, she's primed for a run.
Somebody needs to get a run going on. One of those two needs to get a run going on.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's going to happen.
You have to kind of look at it in the grand scheme of things where you can tell different stories, and they've been doing a decent job. I'll give them this, of telling stories on all the brands. The problem is either they wait too long to pay them off, or the payoff is wrong. Like, they can start a lot of good things, but like, you know, I'm not going to make that pun. Anyway, they just can't finish. They just can't finish. That's
Jay,
my problem.
Who you got in this Finn Balor Thatcher match?
I got Finn. 100% Finn.
All right, so here's my thing. Obviously, with Finn, they don't ever say if it's going to be Finn or if it's going to be the Demon.
I think they're dropping the Demon thing for now. That's why they keep using the Prince. They're trying to, again, it's not Finn Balor in what's it called? The UK. It's very much that Bullet Club Finn from New Japan, where he didn't need the Demon.
The Prince.
Yeah, it's the Prince. So like that's the gimmick. It's the Prince. So I mean, they probably won't re-debut the Demon until they absolutely need to, and it'll probably not come until he's back on the main roster.
I would go with Thatcher on this one because of the fact, why would you have him take out Riddle and then lose to Balor? the only reason why I don't think that losing this one.
Other built-in rivalries based on whoever loses the ladder match. And then you have Thatcher sitting there as the next competitor after the ladder match.
Let's go to the ladder match.
I don't even remember who's in the ladder match at this point.
It's the ladder match is Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, and Velveteen Dream.
It's got to be Bronson Reed. Like, they're putting way too much energy into this guy for it not to be like they're trying to get Bronson Reed a pop. They're trying to get this guy over so bad. Like, the amount of social media this man is doing for WWE and for himself, and the amount of times that whenever I hear about this ladder match, the only person I see is Bronson Reed. Like, they're trying so hard to get this kid over.
Nah.
Where it's going to be either he's going to win the match or he's going to be the guy at the end of the match where whatever the spot is at the end of the match, it's going to be him and whoever wins.
I think
and it's going to be that heartbreak, that moment where it's like, he's right there, and he just missed the brass ring.
What do you think?
You know what? If they really want to do this right, honestly, and everyone can hate me, I don't care. Have it be Velveteen Dream. With the amount of heat that he has, it would not only elevate a guy like Bronson Reed to be the guy to beat Velveteen Dream, but the promos that can come from this, if they just say screw it and they lean into this whole thing, and basically, because he's a hybrid face or heel, depending on who he's facing anyway, he's not really a face, he's not a heel.
Tweener.
Yeah, so why not have him go full-blown heel and fully embrace the whole sexual gimmick and just make it so that people fucking hate him so much? Because as much as people have an issue with him, people in the company have an issue with him, and I understand it, until there's any substantial evidence, he's still innocent. He's still innocent.
Yeah.
And if you really want to piss people off and you want to get butts in seats and you want people to watch your product, give him somebody to hate. There's nothing better in wrestling than the ultimate person that you will hate inside the ring, outside the ring, like at all times, and to have him as one of your title holders, and then you have a built-in baby face.
Especially if you use like real-time heat.
Yeah. Like, there's no better time especially after the last match he had with Adam Cole and how bad of a review that match got. Like, any buzz for Dream right now is good buzz, in my opinion. And if you're gonna lean into it, because again, he doesn't have to cut a promo about it. He just needs to be Velveteen Dream and just sex it up a little bit. And everyone's gonna hate him. Everyone's gonna hate him.
Yeah.
He can sit up there, have him go back on social media, just keep the picture, delete all the pictures on your phone. That's all I'm gonna say. Just make sure there's no pictures on your phone. And just have him lean into the social media, have him lean into the heat, and that's how you get a guy like Bronson Reed over. Because he's the guy that's going to take, and he's the guy that's going to shut up Velveteen Dream. And then you wait for a bigger weekend, something either not COVID related or, closer to SummerSlam, I guess, whenever they decide to do SummerSlam. You do it at a SummerSlam type of event. So that maybe if there is fans, maybe if they do the Thunderdome, I don't know what they're going to do, there's a bigger pop and there's a bigger reaction, and you make Bronson Reed an overnight star.
What do you think, Benny?
What I will say is I believe Bronson Reed is probably going to be the MVP of the match. Gargano is going to be your guy that's in there to make everyone look damn good.
That's true.
I'm going to say we go full minority and go Damian Priest. With the North American Championship. We have all the minorities with all the belts in NXT. Really, this match right here is the hardest one on the entire weekend to call.
It is.
Because you've got so many people in it. The title's vacant. So it's not like you're trying to protect anybody. So, and it's not like anybody in it is going to be taking a pinfall. I would not be surprised if any one of them walk out of there with this belt.
Well, pause. I would only be surprised if it was Gargano.
I wouldn't even be surprised with him.
No.
I mean,
I wouldn't even be surprised with him, honestly, because you could go the route of having Candice LeRae take the belt off of Io Shirai and have them as a power couple.
Yeah, I mean, you could. You definitely could go that way.
You can't go wrong with anybody winning the belt in this one.
You can't. My only thing is because of the fact that Bronson Reed and Johnny Gargano have such a size difference, it concerns me about the quality of matches they would have. Because again, you don't want to put all this energy into Bronson Reed and trying to get his name out there, only for him to have to wait another year and a half before he wins the title.
I feel you, but at the same time, look at the matches that Keith Lee had with Johnny Gargano.
That's also true. And the only difference between the two is I think Keith Lee's skill set maximized Johnny's size in terms of the impact. I haven't seen Bronson Reed. Like, Bronson Reed still hasn't fully established his package yet. If that makes sense?
That sounds real suspect, but I got you.
So,
you know what I mean. I'm trying to put it in the most TV-14 I can. Okay? Trying to go TV-14 as I can. All right?
So
his movesets are like, I don't even know what the man's finisher is.
And that's the thing. That's why he's the on the lower end of this for me. To me.
That's fair.
And like I said, you can't go wrong with anybody, but to me he's on the lower end. To me, I have it my decision is between Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes.
Okay. What the hell? Cuz I don't get Cameron Grimes. I don't know, like, he puts on decent matches, but his character is like a steampunk cowboy. Like, what the fuck is he supposed to be?
No, and that's the thing. Like I could see him having the belt, but the whole thing with his characters was killing me right now. Which is why I'm leaning more towards Damian Priest winning this, because I could see him. Not just him having the belt, but also his character already walking around with his belt. With Cameron Grimes, I want to believe it, but his character doesn't allow me to yet.
And his skill, like, he's like a steampunk. Like, if you took the Gorillas and made them a wrestler, and added a little, like, just like the ape in the Gorilla videos, like, that's what Cameron Grimes reminds me of. Like, I just don't understand it. It's like I want to like him, but his mic skills are His skill set is confusing, and his look, it's like, it's a look if you were Killian Dane. Yeah. Killian Dane can get away with that.
The reason I stuck between those two, Damian Priest can go with this one. That's the reason why I'm picking him. But the reason why I had Cameron Grimes up there is because of the fact the shock and wow factor.
But then again, it's a very what's his name? Vince Russo kind of a swerve for the sake of it being a swerve.
Yeah. I know.
And that doesn't fit Triple H. For all you can say anything you want about him, the man is a genius of long-term booking.
I know.
And that's how I'm trying to look at this. Like, with Keith Lee winning the double championship and then vacating the title, basically saying, I just want to focus on being the world champion, you have to reestablish the luster of this title.
Right.
With a good feud.
That's why I say I had Cameron Grimes up there, but because of his character, I can't see him winning. That's why I'm going with Damian Priest. Because to me, Damian Priest is better polished than Bronson Reed and Cameron Grimes. The only reason why I don't see Johnny and Velveteen Dream winning this is, again, Johnny and Velveteen, to me, like Benny said, are there to make everybody else and polish this match up even more.
And they're both former champions, and you don't want to recycle the thing.
Because I think Johnny's there, but I think Johnny wants to stay there because he doesn't want to deal with like traveling. Just like Tommaso. I don't want to travel. I'm here full sail, and I say I'm good with that.
That and creatively, it's an issue.
Of
creatively, course. And Johnny understands that, and he's with his wife right now. So, yeah. But I mean, I don't know how much. I don't know what the timeline is for travel. They're still all in Florida for the foreseeable future.
They are, but I mean,
you never know. So I understand that, but again, Priest makes sense, but he also doesn't make sense because Priest is the one guy that doesn't have any built up feuds, he doesn't have anything. Like he's established, but he's stale. And it's like he's another guy that they're trying to make a tweener, and they need to make a choice with him. Because like Dream was a heel at first that people just grew to like, then he was a face. Then they made him a tweener. They're trying to just make Damian Priest a tweener. I don't know what he is. That's my problem with Damian Priest. And, his mic skills are a little... like, you're trying to make him Val Venus when he sounds like Undertaker. Very uncomfortable.
That was my problem.
Very uncomfortable to me.
That's not interesting for you?
No, it's just uncomfortable. It's like I'm waiting for him to open his mouth and have like a weird like snake tongue and like lick someone's ear while like his mouth just grows and has like fangs in it. Like he's like, "Oh, I'm the Archer of Infamy." I'm like, can we please give this man like a Queen of the Damned Undertaker? Like, I would have loved for him to have Aleister Black's freaking gimmick since Aleister Black isn't using it. Like, that would be great.
I could see him and Killian Cross getting together.
Yeah, like, that would be a great tag team.
Not just a tag team. All right, so having both the belts and being a little faction.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a faction. You'd kind of need another person because Scarlett ain't wrestling.
No, you can, but then you get somebody with the belts, the tag team belts, unless you do like Bayley and Sasha, and they also get the tag team belts. But the thing is, I think that'd be too soon because of the fact you just had UE with all the belts, and you don't want to too soon because it's like, okay, then you're gonna have either a faction or a team of two that can actually grab the belt at any given time. You don't want that.
Yeah,
it'll tire out very quickly.
I agree with you. The only thing that kind of would make this more interesting is it makes too much sense for Retribution to be NXT because they've attacked everyone but NXT. If they had attacked NXT, then this would make this whole thing way more interesting because then at least you could look at it like, oh, maybe the title doesn't get decided that night. They'll get attacked by Retribution or something. But like this match is I'm going to go with tentatively, I'm going to go with Damian Priest, even though I don't like the choice, because he's just the one that checks all the boxes.
So you're changing
at the moment.
Bronson Reed to Damian Priest.
Yes, because the more I thought it's only because I thought about Bronson Reed, the more I don't know what his skill set is. Mm-hmm. I get his character. He's a big man. He's, a Samoan guy who's just trying to get, he's a classic Samoan big man. That's like, he's a little bit of Samoa Joe. He's a little bit of, not Umaga, but he gives me kind of those same, like, just a traditional Samoan big man. But I want to like Bronson Reed because he's Bronson Reed, but I don't know who Bronson Reed is. Yeah. And I don't know what his finisher is. Like, that's my biggest thing is you don't have a finisher. You don't have a finisher, you shouldn't be in a title run.
Bronson Reed, you hear it? Get a finisher, my guy.
Like, that's it. Just, I need a finisher and I need it to look good. And it can't be, for God, it cannot be a submission. Oh my god, it can't be a submission. I'm so tired of NXT guys with submission finishers.
It's gonna be a spear because not enough people in WWE use spears.
I hope it's not that frog splash.
I hope.
I think it's a frog splash. Which is like, I get it, you're big, you can move, but it's very Yokozuna, very Bam Bam Bigelow. Like it's tired, bro. Like
I guess
give me like a backbreaker or like a.
Here's the thing though. Like if you do like a Samoan drop, you kind of got to tell people not to do it. You know what I mean? Because of the fact, then it's like, okay, so what makes Samoan drop more devastating than everybody else's?
The problem is that we're not far enough removed from Tommaso Ciampa to use the Dream Killer. I think that's what he called it.
The fairy tale ending?
No, not the fairy tale ending. The one where he throws him on his back, where he kept putting Adam.
Oh, that's the air raid crash.
Yeah, that joint. That would look great for him because he's so fucking big, and he can do it on just about anyone. And so it's like the impact of him landing on someone's neck, like Jesus Christ. But I mean, like, because you're not gonna get a new finisher. Like, again, the last time we actually saw a move that didn't exist be attached to a person was the End of Days. That was like the last, like, you look at the move and it's like, oh, that's a new move. Like, I've never seen that before. And it was basically him screwing around and it was an accident. So you're not gonna give him a new move, but you got to give him something that's gonna, like, you can't give him a choke slam, you can't give him a chop, you can't give him a headbutt. Those three are off the table. Every big man and their fathers and their fathers' fathers have done those moves.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
the people's elbow.
Nah. I mean, again, you know what they could give him? They could give him Ronda Rousey's old Samoan drop.
The Piper's Pit.
Piper's Pit. Oh, okay, yeah.
That would actually work for him pretty well.
Because it's a little different than the regular Samoan drop.
Yeah, and it's a little more devastating because of his size.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you need something where, like, you can zoom in the camera on his face, you can get the crowd behind him, and you can get the commentary, the whole, oh my God, to hype it up, and then the finish, it looks like a finisher. And he can basically catch you out of nowhere.
And yeah.
Can I say that Ronda Rousey used to scare the hell out of me every time she did that move?
I swear to God, I thought she was going to snap somebody's neck.
Because I thought she was going to break somebody's neck. Like, it comes way too close to the floor.
It does, and there isn't enough bounce back. So it's like you're just hitting the plank and laying on top of them. So it's like the impact isn't that big, but you're putting so much force on the chest and the neck. Like, it either looks too protected or too dangerous. But it's like you give it to a guy like Bronson Reed where he can literally swing somebody and then use that force to, like, plant them. It's a great move. But I mean, again, I hate Damian Priest's finisher too, but I seriously hate it for a guy that big. But
doesn't he still use a Razor's Edge?
No, he uses that weird, like, reverse DDT spinning. He uses the same joint Elias had. No, Elias had the fisherman suplex thing, but it's like the reversed spinning DDT thing. It looks weird. It's not really high impact. You really need a guy to sell it to make it look good. So, I mean, for someone that big, if you don't have him something with, like, a guy on his shoulders, like a reverse torture rack, like Bianca Belair's move would look great on him, but it's Bianca Belair's. Even though we haven't seen her wrestle in like 6 months, but I mean that one match was.
Get somebody to do the TKO again.
Yeah, truth be told, like you those are moves that, like, guys need to do. But maybe it's banned, that's why they're not doing it.
Yeah, we got
like those guys need a lot higher impact, like real finishers, where, like, it's over and they need to protect those finishers. Sorry to say.
Yeah, and that's annoying though, because I remember I saw somewhere they were talking about, like, moves that used to be finishers are now, like, just regular moves for, like, segue moves.
Oh, you mean like the super kick?
The DDT, super kick.
I mean, again, the DDT, if you're a certain guy of a certain build and you can find an alternative way to do it, can still look really, really good. Like, think about Edge's DDT. It wasn't anything special, but it looked really good, and you knew when he hit it, it was game over. Like, Alexa Bliss's DDT, when she used to have that snap DDT, looked really good.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, so how can you change it? Because now you got Randy that does DDT off the rope. Like, he'll put your legs on the rope and he'll drive you into the mat. So it's one of those where, like, you have to have a DDT, the way of doing DDT where it's like unique to you, because then if it's somebody else's DDT, it's like, oh, well, why is it he kicked out of his DDT but not his DDT? You know?
I mean, too, you have to be of a certain body type. Like, you have to be a certain kind of guy. Like, a Johnny Gargano can't do a DDT as a finisher. Like, it just doesn't work. But, I mean, again, look at the last guy who had a DDT as a finisher was Dean Ambrose / Jon Moxley. Because it was that regular wing DDT.
Right.
But, I mean, like, you can have a guy where the problem is that guys are so technically sound that you don't have the drama of, like, when you had, like, a Diesel where he set you up for the powerbomb and you had him play to the crowd first, and then you had the DDT or something, like, or you had the powerbomb. It's not like you can have a guy where you get the DDT and then, like, actually, now that I think about it, when was the last time Andrade did his DDT?
Shit.
Going on the concrete? I don't know.
The last time he did it was
the
like
last one was Humberto.
Well, yeah. That DDT looks devastating because it
the hammerlock DDT.
Yeah, the hammerlock DDT. But again, we don't. As much as we see Andrade never gets that move off.
Yeah,
and that's the frustrating part. But like, if they can do something like a DDT, like I said, a DDT for a guy like Thatcher makes sense.
Yeah.
Because right now his finisher is a some kind of like reverse sleeper on the floor kind of situation. No, that's Loomis has that DDT. I mean, has that sleeper. But I think Thatcher's finisher is like some kind of weird submission as well. So I mean, the problem is that those are like catch wrestling guys like Shayna Baszler. So having them do wrestling moves is weird. But at the same time, like those guys need. That's the problem. That's the whole problem I have with this match is that like the guys who you think are supposed to win, they still don't check all the boxes of what you want your champion to be, especially if that's supposed to be your workhorse title.
It's time for them to start that. All that means is now they got the opportunity to build whoever wins up.
Exactly.
Right. But then again, too, in order to build somebody up, you have to have like the basic things. Like you got to give them a basic package. The only guy who has somewhat of a basic package is Damian Priest.
Out of the newer guys.
Yeah, out of the newer guys, because again, Johnny's
you got
already
Dream and Gargano in there. So,
but I mean, both guys have. Well, Dream hasn't, unfortunately, but both guys have been in the world title picture. So you pretty much know what you're getting with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
This match to me is about the new guys, and I mean, for all I said about Cameron Grimes, at least he has a finisher, and his finisher is high impact, and it fits his body type. That double stomp, if you're a short person, vicious. How he's going to hit a double stomp on Damian Priest, I don't know. Unless he does it like off a ladder or something, which I think is probably the idea.
It's a ladder match, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, like, that makes sense. But, I mean, like, it's like when Finn Balor does, like, the 1916.
I love
devastating. Yeah, but I'm saying, notice how rare he uses it, but it's effective. So, I mean, like, those guys are. That's why I think it's probably Damian Priest, but I kind of want it to be Bronson Reed as well because, like you said, you got to build somebody. And then you go from a big guy like Keith Lee, where he is a unique athlete, but Bronson Reed is athletic in his own right, to a guy who's significantly smaller, having to battle against all these bigger guys. I feel like it you kind of got to have some kind of continuity there. And then you also have to look at the fact that whenever Dexter Lumis comes back, because I personally think Dexter Lumis was supposed to win this match. If you're looking at, if he never got hurt, he probably would have won this match.
Mm-hmm.
because he's the only guy with the look, the entrance, the mystique, the finisher. Because his finisher goes with his character. Like, he's weirdly slimy, he's quiet, he doesn't... Like, it's scary to me that this man has a pencil mustache, blonde hair, and literally crawls on his knuckles like he just got his legs amputated and will put you to sleep and doesn't change his expression. Like, it's a very unnervingly ominous feeling watching his matches. But that's why I love watching his matches, which is why he'd be a great champion, because it's very much a la The Fiend. Now that he's not there, it's like, well, fuck, we got to put it on somebody. It's not like anybody can retain. And it's like, all right, you put it, like you said, Johnny makes sense. Dream, to me, makes the most sense, just because of the heat at the moment. But Bronson, they're putting so much energy into him. Cameron Grimes has been chilling around this picture, and Damian Priest has had multiple title shots, so he's got to win it eventually.
Yeah. The other thing you gotta bring up when it comes to Bronson Reed is this WWE trope that they have that happens all the time before a pay-per-view. Whoever stands tall last 99% of the time doesn't win.
They never win.
And when they had the little brawl on NXT this past week, Bronson Reed was the last one holding the title. So
So I mean,
it's like,
I as much as I want him to win it, I think that they're grooming him to win it. I just don't think that. I think it's more of a SummerSlam thing. But then again, well, they can actually get away with the short title run because, you get a guy like Cameron Grimes, go put him in a match with Bronson Reed. Like, I don't see Cameron Grimes coming out of it. Yeah, even a guy like Damian Priest.
You don't want a short title run because you ruined that wrestler for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
B, you devalue that title because you just had a big match for it on Takeover. So you don't want to do a short title run with that belt.
And that's my thing. Whoever wins this is going to have to hold it for a little while.
Yeah, which means I would leave Damian Priest.
But then that's the thing too. Well, true, because I could, it makes sense, because I'm thinking about like Damian Priest versus Karrion Kross or Damian Priest versus Keith Lee. The Keith Lee one is already built in from their matches for the North American title, and like you said, Damian Priest and Karrion Kross in any sort of program together is interesting. It's interesting. So I could see them having him lose to move him up to the main title picture, but I can also see them using this as a trial run to see if you can put a title on Damian Priest, like a world title on Damian Priest.
Right. It doesn't have to be a short war. He loses like in the next week or two, but he loses like Survivor Series weekend.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, because then now you have a built-in feud going into 2021, and you have a next up quote unquote guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still don't know when the hell Tommaso Ciampa is going to show up again. So I don't know why he's out. I don't know. I don't think he's hurt. But I mean, he
probably just needed a break.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I think they don't want to use him too much because of the fact that the neck and the shortened career.
Yeah.
From that surgery, so they want to kind of minimize.
And they're gonna use him for bigger matches. Like, again, he put Karrion Kross over really well, so that's great. But he also would fit into a guy that you bring him back and he's immediately in the title picture because of his history with Karrion Kross, or he's immediately in the title picture because he never lost the title, type situation. And him going up against a guy like Keith Lee, both guys are exceptional in all areas. It makes for a great program. So right. I mean, anyway, back to this match. I think we all can agree it's probably Damian Priest, just by default. By default, really, because I could see him losing. Now that I think about it, I've kind of talked myself into a corner because I can see him losing it now to either Dexter Lumis or Bronson Reed.
But and that's building up to Survivor Series.
Right, right, very much so.
Because like you're saying, if Damian Priest wins it, like we're saying, you get a title run with him, and you get to see how he looks, how he reacts, how promos and everything with the title. You give him a short stint with it. You like it, he keeps going. You don't take it off from a Survivor Series.
Or you can even have it if
maybe even before, just to get the ratings.
Yeah, you have him lose it before, and you have it drop to someone that you want. Because if they do the brand versus brand thing like they did before, imagine a U.S. title match, a U.S. versus Intercontinental versus North American title match.
And we're going to get to that in a bit because I want to bring that up. But let's get to the next match: Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee.
I mean, you almost have to have Adam Cole win, but just because I want to be a contrarian, like, what if Pat McAfee does win? Like, what if he does win?
Yeah, I kind of want Pat McAfee shenanigans though.
Yeah, like I like the fact that McAfee's almost the heel in this situation because he's such an asshole that it takes a special kind of asshole to make Adam Cole look like a nice guy.
Yeah, the victim.
Because it makes Adam Cole look like the victim, and it makes Adam Cole look like he's fighting for wrestling. And it's like Adam Cole hasn't changed his character at all.
No,
he's still a dick. It's just McAfee is such a colossal dick. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I can watch him on his own show and get worked just because, like, some of the shit from one segment to another. And I'm like, this guy is seriously working me because, like, one minute I want to punch him in the face, the other time I want to run through a wall for him. Like, I want to be on this guy's team, but at the same time, if I was on this guy's team, I'd fucking hit him with a helmet like fucking Myles Garrett did to fucking Mason Rudolph. So it's like, but I love that about McAfee at the same time. Like, I love that about McAfee. And then on top of that, like, if McAfee loses, he doesn't lose anything. He gets more ratings for his show from wrestling fans, and he's gonna still talk shit about Adam Cole. That's the thing about guys like he's still gonna talk shit, and it leaves him open for. And if he does well, it leaves him open as a talent, much the way Gronk is probably still like an open-ended talent for WWE to bring back whenever they need like a little rating spike. Because who didn't love seeing Adam Cole get punted in the face? Like, he sold the shit out of that punt, but that punt looked like it fucking hurt.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he sold the hell out of that, but he caught one straight in the chest, and that shit looked like it hurts. Like, McAfee's still in good shape, and McAfee's one of the better punters I've ever seen. So, he's got some kickback behind that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Cole only because you can't have your guy lose on his brand. It just can't happen. It just can't. Like, it just can't. And a large part of me wants McAfee to win because I just want to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see, like, I want a part two. I don't want it to be a one-off.
I'm gonna say this right here. The mere fact that Adam Cole is coming off this historic NXT championship run kind of sort of makes it impossible for Pat McAfee to win, because if he wins, you have legitimately just buried the entire NXT roster. The only way he could win is he can win with shenanigans, and it would have to be a lot, considering Adam Cole has Undisputed Era on his side.
I mean, your man bought an AJ Hawk, bruh.
Fuck him.
He bought an AJ Hawk. He can bring in some linebackers. Well, no, everybody's in training camp. Never mind. Everybody's in training camp. Yeah, forget what I said.
That's it. The only thing that's turning me away from Adam Cole winning this is the possibility of shenanigans. But I don't. This to me is almost as certain a lock as there is this weekend. But what I am gonna say is this match is going to be way better than it has any business being.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yes,
And
definitely.
especially if McAfee can somewhat wrestle, and him talking about how he was training with one of the better trainers turns out to be true, and he can actually work a match. Holy shit. It'll be like the end of Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it this way. When what's her name? Ronda came in. Ronda was green, and I told you guys in that match she's getting carried. You know, and it's easy to work with like Stephanie because Stephanie's just selling stuff. Stephanie's not doing anything big, but she could sell. You know, and that's all that Pat and Adam need to do is just work on stuff that's simple. It'll be effective and easy for either one to sell. You know, he has all this time to practice and work on that. That's all he's got to do. Don't got to get nothing fancy schmancy. You know, just like, hey, look, Pat, I went to this. Roll with it. We good. You're gonna be all right.
I mean, again, you also can't you gotta give. I think a part of it is how do you have a match that's entertaining and believable? Because if you have you could have a situation where McAfee tries to wrestle Cole and then just gets frustrated with it and just decides to be like, screw it, I'm just gonna fight like a crazy person, and have him go like Nikki Cross level of like insanity and just have it be like he's in a real fight, or have him like punt kick Adam Cole in the balls or something and then like steal his move. Like you can do little things like that make it more believable. But you can't keep it too simple where it's like, okay, you guys sold us so short on this bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got to work it right. They got to work it right. And I think it'll be fine. I think they will. Adam Cole looks like the guy that can like actually wrestle a broom, and he'll be all right. He'll put a good match. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that McAfee needs, as long as McAfee stays, cool and doesn't get stiff on him, he'll be all right. And I think Cole's gonna win this one. I would like to see McAfee win it with shenanigans, just to see just to see it like a part 2 at Survivor Series or something. But unless that's gonna happen, unless it's gonna be like a rematch at Survivor Series, I'll go with Adam Cole. But the only thing that kind of worries me is we've seen it where they bring in like these Pat McAfee, LT, and all these people, and you think they're not going to win it, and they give it to them.
Well,
or like a roll up or something.
I get you. My only thing is I don't think they've ever given it to one of them. I don't think they've ever given it to the celebrity when it's the person is as big as Adam Cole is. Because when you're talking LT, when you're talking Bam Bam Bigelow. Bam Bam was a mid-carder at best.
Right.
Adam Cole can walk into Raw or SmackDown tomorrow and be in the title picture.
That's true.
So I don't think we're gonna get. I don't think that's enough of a factor. Like they've gone and they've done stuff, but I don't think so. Even listening, they ended up what was it, the Strowman? What's his face?
Oh, Tyson Fury fight.
Yeah, the Fury. Did that mess ended in what, a count out?
Yeah. Like I could see something like that happening. I could see a Pat McAfee like roll up where like he grabs the tights kind of situation. And then like and then like you could see Triple H like coming back and restarting the match kind of situation. Like I could see that happening. I could see Triple H. I could even see Triple H coming out and giving Pat McAfee a pedigree. Just to rub a little sauce on it. Because again, Triple H did get involved. And he did kick Pat out. And I could see Triple H be like, no, you're not going to come in here and you're not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Adam Cole on this one, though.
Me too.
Jay?
Unfortunately, we keep agreeing on things, so yes. Like, no one's ever going to win this 3-count championship if we keep agreeing on everything.
Now going to the women's. We got Io Shirai and Dakota Kai.
I feel like this one is open and shut. Love Dakota. Dakota's one of my favorite in the company right now. But they're not gonna drop. They're not gonna have Io drop it to someone who doesn't have the same notoriety that was in the match that Io won the championship in. Like, she won it in a match with Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. She's not gonna lose it to Dakota Kai.
Nah.
It's a way to build Dakota Kai.
It is. It very much is. But I think the problem with Dakota Kai right now is you suffer from a situation of she came off the Tegan Nox thing hot, and you put her with another person, and then you took away that person, and now you bring her back. So it's like, are you going to give her a faction? Is she a manager? Is Raquel Rodriguez muscle? And if so, why is she only beating up on some people sometimes? Like, Dakota just isn't. She isn't enough of a threat right now. Like, she isn't. Like, her and Tegan Nox, that story was really cool, and we've seen it a bunch of times, and it's always good whenever they do it. The problem is, one person gets the babyface usually gets the rocket ship because you can still root for the babyface, and the babyface can still say the same. The heel, on the other hand, now that you've done that program with that person, who else is there for you to hate? You just immediately like, oh, I'm gonna go be champion. No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So I mean, EO's obviously gonna retain until they can build. Like, I think that they're trying to build Tegan. They're not doing a great job of it, but they're trying to build Tegan Nox. And Rhea Ripley's still like hovering, which is uncomfortable because Rhea Ripley now looks out of place.
Or she'll be killing somebody soon.
I mean, again, I'm waiting for her to turn heel on Shotzi Blackheart and then really give Shotzi a rub to like catapult her. And I think that's what they're working on. But, you know, again, they kind of have to put Rhea in the background so that she doesn't become Charlotte Flair.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with that is they spent so much time on fucking Charlotte Flair's run that they don't have anyone else built. So now they have to rebuild everyone at the same time.
Yep.
And no, there is no hierarchy now.
Nope.
And it's like now you have to downgrade one of your stars to help build up the rest of your stars so that everyone's a threat. But if everyone's a threat, no one's a threat. But that's why I think you may have been on to something earlier about Candice. Candice has noticeably been absent from one-on-one competition outside of the whole Mia Yim thing. Which I think, again, even though they took forever to do it, I think Candice is the one that's going to take the title off of Io. When? I don't know. But
Survivor Series.
I guess.
So
Survivor Series or SummerSlam, because Survivor Series and SummerSlam are so close now because Survivor Series is now in September.
Is it? I thought it's supposed to be November.
It's September, November. It's around that time instead of it being now. Well, September is in like next week, but I mean, I thought maybe it is in November. And I think their next takeover after this is around Halloween. So I think the next takeover after this is going to be Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, I was going to say, they mentioned something about having a surprise for Halloween.
Yeah, so I think they're going to bring back Halloween Havoc. Now, that would be a nice situation because of Candice's character for that to happen. But then again, because you already lost Kairi Sane, do you now have Io have a short run and then bring up Kairi Sane and then bring up Io to pair with Asuka?
I'm like, nope.
I know it doesn't. It's not ideal, but we're also talking about Vince here.
I know.
So I mean, I feel like that's it seems like that's the direction. Because again, if that doesn't happen, then after Io loses the title after a short run, what does that do?
That's why I don't think she's gonna have a short run.
And then you run into the problem of now you're still burying your women's division.
Mm.
Unless, like I said, unless you do this here, which is running multiple women's feuds at the same time.
You have to.
Because WWE falls into this stupid lull of we can only do one thing with the women's division at a time.
Or two,
because they're doing two right now.
Which is why you have this situation on the main roster where Bayley and Sasha have legitimately all of the gold at the same time. Now we're going to get into that nonsense tomorrow, but
yeah, that's
for this particular situation, I believe at some point Dakota Kai will be NXT Women's Champion, but I do not believe that point is tomorrow. Regardless of what help she has, I don't think that they're going to be taking this belt off of Io. I think it would be a mistake to do so, especially considering the fact that since she won the belt, she hasn't really had the opportunity to do anything with it.
Right.
So I'm saying give the lady a chance. The last Asian you had with the title was Kairi Sane, and she had the belt for, a heartbeat before she turned around and lost it right back to Shayna Baszler for reasons. But it's just...
Truth be told, she shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, and she shouldn't have won the title, but that's just me.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, she had the belt for the second. Like, unless you're going to go with and say that it was one of them type of those house show championship victories that used to happen back in the day that weren't supposed to happen, and you could just hide it by going to another house show and having them lose. Nah, I'm not with that whole thing. But like I said, at this point, especially considering the fact that once she moved to the main roster, Kairi was done so dirty. You need to have a make good with Io. Because if you continue to treat your Asian stars the way that they are, maybe this is a little Asian bias on my part, but I believe that Stardom is sending over some gems and they're getting treated like coal.
It's already, the word's out already, man. The word's going out. It already went out to, like, with the Spanish wrestlers already. I forgot who it was. He was thinking about signing with WWE, and somebody was like, "No, don't waste your time. It's just your money's good, but it's just a waste of time." And I think the word's getting out with Japan too.
Yeah. Well, here's the opportunity right here, right now. You got two Asian superstars getting ready to go for championships tomorrow and Sunday.
I'm sorry. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, but
I know.
Yeah. But I mean, I agree with you. I do think Io, like, the problem with people like Dakota Kai falls into the same issue that Bianca Belair fell into. Right person, wrong time.
Yeah.
I don't think you can keep Dakota Kai off the championship another year, another 2 years, because then she's gonna get stale and then she's gonna fall back to the bottom of the card.
Oh no, what I'm going at with this, as far as Io goes, as far as I'm concerned, let her keep the title to around Royal Rumble time.
No, and I agree with you, but what I'm saying is, my only problem is because of the fact that you built up Dakota Kai, and then the question is, all right, who's next? Is it Rhea Ripley again? Are you trying to build Aaliyah now? Are you trying to build Mercedes Martinez? Are you trying to build Shotzi Blackheart? Like, what are you doing? So it's like,
well, the good thing is the fact that because of the fact we're talking NXT and we're not talking main roster WWE, we don't have to worry about a payoff coming that fast.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about, all right, we need to hurry up and build up this next person to be the next challenger or whatever like that, because of the fact that the next takeover isn't until October, November.
I mean, again, the reason why I'm concerned is because if the whole Tony Khan thing in AEW happens where he's able to bring fans back in person.
Mm-hmm.
This whole Thunderdome thing, it's a great idea, but there's still an issue with crowd noise.
He's already bringing fans in.
That's what I'm saying. If he can figure it out before Vince does.
Oh, I think he did.
No, he's got it.
Yeah, I think he did.
He's got it. They're doing something. I think it's 15% capacity.
No, but yeah. What I'm saying is he doesn't necessarily have it in the sense of we don't know how long it's going to last.
Oh,
like if he can do it and it's sustainable, and AEW gets the crowd back first, then Vince is going to want an arms race, and he's going to want all of the talent that he can to try and get butts and seats. And last time he did that, he decimated the NXT roster, and more than half of those people have done absolutely nothing on the main roster.
But see,
here's the people that we were saying, give them 6 months, they'll be fine. Give them 6 months, they'll be fine. At this point, what happened to the Money in the Bank? I rest my case.
We know.
To be honest with you, this shit should have never been the oldest in the first place. But
nope.
I haven't seen the Money in the Bank. I haven't seen the briefcase. The briefcase magically disappeared.
Yeah, here's the thing. AEW is ahead of the curve if you want to look at it, because they were the first ones doing their own wrestlers in the crowd, and then what happened a few weeks later, Vince did it.
WWE did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing right now that WWE has in front of them is the whole virtual crowd that they're testing with Thunderdome, I was wondering who was going to do it first, and they did it. And I saw it tonight. It's not that bad. It's pretty good.
It's not. I like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of screens for me though, but it is what it is. You get some crowd reaction, you get something going. It would have been dope if they randomly would put like a fan like on a bigger monitor, like, hey, let me give you a little shine. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a little shine, for a fan. Like give them something to want to be on, not just sit there on a small screen.
Well, apparently,
because you're gonna get what that
guy. One... Somebody screenshotted a guy who fell asleep watching the show.
I was about to say you're gonna get that one dickhead who's gonna do something, who's just waiting and just does something real stupid and ruins it for everybody.
Well,
I'm not highlighting any fans on doing anything.
They're talking about like they could fine you, not just take you off the air randomly, but they can fine you as well, though. Is what I heard. So
like it's a tough like. And my worry with Vince is always the crowd and the numbers affect his storytelling more than common sense.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's a situation where Dakota Kai has a nice little shine on her, but when do you capitalize on that shine? I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm saying if you're looking grand scheme of things, the problem is that she's getting more famous outside of the ring on Twitter and on Twitch and everything, and it makes her look like an uber babyface. And then she's a heel on TV. So it's hard to capitalize on what she's done on TV when, she's going the Xavier Woods route.
Right. I get you. And that's a good point. And that's hard for WWE to hold anybody back because they seem to also capitalize on that as well.
Right.
So they need to figure something out for her, like you're saying, because you can't be watching somebody on YouTube, they're like super babyface, and then come around like NXT show or Takeover, and they're a heel. I mean, for example, let's go over what happened with Sonya Deville and Mandy in real life. Mm-hmm. Mandy was at the house when this freaking perp tried to do what he tried to do to Sonya.
Mm-hmm.
But on tonight's show, SmackDown, it's like they mentioned what happened to Sonya, but if you actually read the report, you knew Mandy was there, so it's like it kind of sort of played off of it, Which
and I mean, if you're talking about that situation, that's what comes to mind. I understand why they did what they did tonight, but that's a whole other conversation. But I mean, again, I think Io's gonna win because at this point she has to win because it doesn't make sense for her not to win. My worry is how is Dakota gonna look on the other end of this?
It has to be a strong loss. It can't be a regular. Oh,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what's gonna happen. Like, Io's not gonna squash her. It should be a good match.
No, and that's not what I'm worried about. It's you almost have to use this match to establish what's next. So it's like, does she blame Raquel and like super kick, big boot, Sami Zayn kick her in the face?
And that's the thing. If you can't do that.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? Like, you can't have Tegan Nox interfere because Tegan's a babyface.
The only way you can get away with this is if you have it as Io winning by DQ.
And having Dakota like snap.
Yeah, like Dakota loses by DQ, but doesn't look bad in it. You know what I'm saying? Like Raquel gets busted, like doing something to Io Shirai, and then DQ. You know?
Yeah, like
that's the only way.
It has to be. It has to be a dirty finish. Like if Io wins clean, it has to be like no less than a 3.5 star match. Like it has to be a absolute banger.
Would you really expect anything less from NXT though?
Yeah.
Well, only because this doesn't feel like a takeover. That's my problem, and that's where I'm worried because now the takeover bar is set so high that the last couple of takeovers have been Like the takeover since War Games, like In Your House was good, but it wasn't takeover good.
Well, all right. Look at it like this. Because of the fact that we came off of War Games, the next takeover was supposed to be the Royal Rumble one, but they canceled that one. It was just like, oh, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go straight into TakeOver Tampa. And then TakeOver Tampa didn't happen. So you're still like, all right, we're waiting. We're in this holding pattern or whatever. And the last thing that we remember from an event that was labeled TakeOver was Tommaso Ciampa damn near killing himself and Adam Cole. So
Actually, my last
waiting
memory
for
was
something.
freaking Rhea Ripley tearing the fucking house down. Like I don't even remember the last match. I remember the women's match. Honestly, but it's like that whole that whole time of the year, like that made me really, really love wrestling again. Like that was why I fell in love with wrestling. Like that, and then that Survivor Series, and then like then that Royal Rumble right after that, and it was like, oh my god, like this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, like the Survivor Series when it was all 3 promos, like I liked it because it was well written. The way they did it was good. And I was like, golly, see, you guys can write something good.
That's what I'm saying. Like you guys can write. Like where is this? I want more of this. And then for the next one to be In Your House, it was like.
Yeah, and because of the fact that there's so much drop off from where the high that we were at with War Games and the WWE stuff that came after that, and then COVID and loss of fans, and then everything just kind of fell off the cliff.
I think NXT got it, like they got it bad. Like when things go bad, it goes bad for you. Like the loss of the talent shifting over, the COVID, the loss of the fans, like a lot was shaken up within the roster, then everything else around them. So it's like
and then you had the say something. What is it? Say something or the hashtag
speaking
going
out.
around.
Oh, the cross
branded
with NXT UK as well. Yeah. So yeah, I get you.
And so because then you lost guys like Austin Theory as well. He was a hybrid, where like he could go. Like he was supposed to be another guy that was supposed to come in.
Wait, why is he gone? Is it that or something else? I can't find the answer.
Because he was accused by someone like even Seth was talking about it on his Instagram Live about how he misses Austin Theory because Austin is so like he's dripping with talent.
Right.
But they took him off of TV and they took him out of the locker room because some stuff came out about him, I guess, using either it was him it was a sexual advance on someone in the locker room or him using his status to make sexual advances and making women feel uncomfortable and all that other stuff. He was mixed up in all of that.
Mm.
So, I mean, like, guys like him are gone. Pete Dunne, who literally we were just waiting to, like, explode, gone. So it's like, that's my fear with NXT 30, where it's like, it's supposed to be built as this big thing, but it's not built like this big thing.
The other thing, and this is going back to In Your House, is not to take anything away from Dream, but your main event match honestly should have been the NXT Championship match.
Yes.
Granted,
Absolutely.
like I said, I'm an Io Shirai fan. I love the fact that she won the NXT Women's Championship at that point. All right, but unless she was pinning Charlotte herself, then no. That should not have been the champ. That should not have been the main event. And at that point, that right there should have been the night that Keith Lee won the title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because then you're talking just a couple of weeks later, you have this unification match, winner take all gold on the line. Like,
and it happened on like a regular NXT show, and it's like, we get it. Like, you have to watch NXT every week because you never know what's gonna happen. But at the same time, like,
after that long layoff, especially considering the fact that you had no championship matches at the last takeover, there needed to be, some type. There
needed to be a bang, and there needed to be, as bad as it sounds, there needed to be a in arena, even though the arena was empty. There needed to be an in arena match like that. Whatever you want to call it, that backlot brawl, I guess it was.
Yeah, the cinematic match they did, that was crap.
Yeah, it was terribly done. That was the biggest thing. It was crap.
Made no sense.
Yeah. And it was like, why is this theme has nothing to do with either guy. Like, the cinematic matches that are successful, there's character-driven reasons why these are matches.
Right.
Freaking Dream dressed like Hollywood Hogan and Razor Ramon. Like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. And then Adam Cole came out in like jeans and a t-shirt. And it's like,
he was supposed to be Negan.
Well, there we go. It's supposed to be Negan, and it's like, that's cute. That's great. Yay. But Walking Dead has been dead for how long now? Like, Stop.
It made no sense. It was too late. Should have been done like last year, 2 years ago.
It should have been done when Dream was at his height, instead of maybe he's gonna get a title match, maybe he doesn't, maybe he's gonna, like, that's my problem, and that's what worries me about NXT. And then NXT just lost their head writer.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where I'm looking at the roster now, and I'm looking at these matches, and this feels like a backlash, or like a
lower
or like an end of the line. Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, you think it feels like a B level pay-per-view.
Yeah.
This feels like a C level pay-per-view. Like,
God,
it does.
Damn,
I'm sorry, it does. It does.
Jeez.
Like, this feels like if you were gonna put a pay-per-view on for Sunday Night Heat.
A man talking about like what should we call it? That's what I'm thinking about. Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, like that's what this feels like. It's just like, like, I want to be excited for this pay-per-view, but there's so much going on that it's like,
it takes
there's so much that can go wrong here. And if this pay-per-view on top of In Your House is bad, like, NXT loses a little bit of the luster, and it's like, all right, well, if this is bad, and then what's the next? It's not All In, is it? Or All In? It's not All In. What's the next?
Wait for AEW.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's All In, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this sucks and then All In is great because let's face it, up and down the roster, AEW has some bangers going on right now.
You do.
It's like you handicap yourself.
Let me be a homer for a second though, or what do we call it? An apologist, real quick. You got to understand the NXT is in a transition period though, too.
How long are we gonna keep using that excuse though? Like
when we get an
guys.
established NXT champion, Keith Lee is he's no, because he just won the belt.
Okay, let's go to this main card, the main event. Keith Lee and Karrion Kross.
Let me start this one off right now by saying I swear to Almighty God, if Keith Lee loses this title, I am going to flip Vince McMahon's house over.
We're gonna have to drive up to Greenwich, bro, because
I do not care what they want to do with Karrion Kross.
You did
not have Keith Lee dethrone Adam Cole to drop the title at the very next pay-per-view.
I hear you.
I don't even know why they're doing this soon. Like,
because
this doesn't make sense.
I get it. You want Karrion Kross. I get it, but damn it, bro. Like, wait a minute. Build the guy.
Granted, this is not WWE we're talking about. This is NXT, but they're under the same banner. They did the exact same thing with Bobby Lashley.
And
they saw something that they need. They saw something that they wanted, and they was just like, "Do it! I don't care. I don't care. We don't have to build to anything. Just do it right now."
Yep.
I think to a part of.
I don't care. I want that belt on Kross now.
This match, this feud, this rivalry could have been the marquee rivalry in NXT. This could have been your Gargano Ciampa.
Yeah.
This could have been your. This isn't like a marquee rivalry. This was like a marquee match, but this could have been your Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
This could have been the next great NXT championship feud. But they sat up there and just blew their load before it even got a chance to build. I cannot stand when they do this. So I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at it like, okay, now you're between a rock and a hard place. Do you make Keith Lee look like a complete joke? Or do you take Karrion Kross and you burn him out of the title picture already? And the only thing that makes any kind of sense is to have Keith Lee keep winning and to move Karrion Kross to the main roster.
But again, when Karrion, formerly known as Killer Kross, came in, the rumor initially was that he was supposed to go straight to the main roster.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he was never meant to have a long run in NXT anyway. But at the same time, it doesn't make any sense for him to have, like, the match with Ciampa.
Yeah.
And then whatever match he just had, and then lose to Lee. Like,
now, the only thing that is throwing a wrench into me picking Keith Lee is the Dominic Dijakovic factor. They have built up this whole we're friendly rivals type thing between the two of them.
mm-hmm.
So, do they have Dijak come out and help?
Or do they have Dijak turn heel?
Or do you have Dijak turn heel? To which, wasn't Dijak also supposed to be going up? Like, what the hell? What is going on?
I think that's what I'm saying. I thought
okay,
that was their way to write off Dijak, and Dijak's supposed to be. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Dijak's probably one of the Retribution people.
So, all right. So, before we get into that one, because I want to talk about that, are we all in agreement, Keith Lee, pretty much? Again,
I got Lee.
Because that's what I feel like.
Yeah, but I'm not confident in the pick. I'm not, because
it's gonna be a Bronson Damian Priest type thing. Like,
it's like you can't have him lose unless you're gonna write him off TV, and then he shows up on Monday, and maybe it's like him and Dijakovic in Retribution. I don't like. There's a couple of chicks in Retribution, so maybe Scarlett's there. Actually, I think Scarlett is one of them because I saw the little purple streak under one of the fucking hoodies and shit.
Somebody actually said Ember Moon is one of them too. But
I would be elated if Ember Moon was one of them, because that means she's fucking healthy. Actually, that would actually make sense too, because I haven't seen a lot of her on social media yet either.
Plus, it makes sense too, like the whole Retribution and her being involved in that. It makes sense. But I'm putting you down as Keith Lee.
Yes.
So the Retribution, I'm worried about it because of the fact that tonight, I don't know if you guys saw SmackDown, but the group just like multiplied like 3 times.
What?
Yeah.
That's why when you said aces and eights, I was like, okay, I was watching it and I was like, okay, this makes sense.
Bro,
yeah, they have like a legion of like, they look like the Foot Clan.
Yeah. That's a lot.
They really like it's sad. They look like the Foot Clan.
It's
like
too much too quick. Like they went like NWO full like in 3 weeks. Because now it's like, say 20 members. Who the hell are the 20? And then it's like, now you can't play it off where like you already put it like this group of like 20 per se.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do when you start showing their faces and you're like, it's only 6? What happened to
I mean, listen, you can it can go one of 2 ways. It can go the way you're talking about and it just looks stupid. Or you literally have an entire, like, they have a roster at catering.
They do.
It's not like they don't have enough people to do this.
They don't.
And the problem with the thing is, the name Retribution makes sense for a multitude of people to be there. And then you have, it's almost like you can give yourself a cross-branded invasion angle. Because remember when WWE superstars started joining the alliance out of nowhere, and it was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
You have multiple people, because like, think about it. When was like, you see Ricochet, you see the Hurt Business, you see, and it's like, you see that going on, right? So say you want to switch a guy from Raw to SmackDown and not talk about it. You just want it to happen. You can just start, because again, you don't have to reveal everybody at the same time. It's almost like you slowly start to roll it out a lot. Like, it's sad because it sounds exactly like the aces and eights situation. But you kind of have to do it in a way that, because notice, they attacked Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman didn't really care, punched Drew Gulak in the face, right? Now you look at it from Drew Gulak's perspective. Why the hell am I helping WWE and their champion, and then I get punched in the face? Like, don't I want retribution for this? So you kind of plant the seeds of who's in retribution, who's not. Then you have a divided SmackDown locker room. And then I'm hearing already that they're going to do another draft.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So this also plays into the draft. Because if you have a split SmackDown locker room where no one trusts each other, now you have people coming over from Raw. You have people leaving SmackDown, possible retribution members, reforming the faction on Raw. So now you have the faction on Raw and SmackDown. So, I mean, if you do it right, it becomes the NWO.
And here's the thing. This is the thing that we've heard. Oh, people don't want the long-term storyline booking. No, we want it. Is that your long-term storyline booking sucks?
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's like watching a 3-hour movie and 2.5 hours of it is fluff.
Yep.
Like, tell the story. Give us payoff. Don't make us wait 5 months for one reveal, and it's Dana Brooke.
Oh no. Or you have us tied in there and we good, but it's like Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Give me something better. I stuck it out for like a month. I stuck it out for a month, and you give me Hornswoggle.
Anonymous Raw GM, Vince McMahon's illegitimate son. Like,
and it's like to me, the perfect leadership for this whole retribution situation, you write off the Undisputed Era, and that's how you debut them. So now the Undisputed Era is essentially the NWO.
Mm-hmm.
And you build in Adam Cole as its leader. And you have other people that respect Adam Cole because the connection is there already.
Yeah.
It's like either it has to be like Adam Cole as a leader or like Kevin Owens.
now,
Or
my
even
biggest
Sami
issue.
Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn would be the like you have so many great choices because they all have the same issue with WWE.
Right.
So
my
if
biggest
you do
issue,
this right, it can be phenomenal. It can take the best parts of the faction era, the best parts of the invasion era, and it will bring you and usher in a new era of no one trusts each other. We're not all friends. We all want to kill each other. And that's really what we all want to see. We want to see blood feuds. Like real blood feuds, not I hate you because I lost to you in a karaoke contest. Or I'm underappreciated, so I deserve a title shot.
That's my Game Boy. Give my Game Boy.
Yeah, that's give me my Game Boy. Like, Mama, I need batteries. Like, I need a new I need new clothes because everyone else has new clothes. Like, that's what it sounds like. No, give me a reason to hate someone. Give me a reason to hate two people that hate each other more than I hate them. So now I'm forced to root for someone. And then you make a hero out of it, and then they turned out to be an asshole. So it makes you like that's what Triple H was great at. That's what Austin was great at. That's what The Rock was great at. They can make you love you. They can make you love them and hate them within the span of a week. But you always tuned in. Stop giving me My Little Pony.
But sometimes
I want to see The Walking Dead. Stop giving me My Little Pony.
Sometimes they weren't even on TV, and that's what made it great because you're like, where is he? Where is he? It makes you want to see them.
Exactly.
I was going to say, my biggest issue with this entire thing is the fact that I was going to say it seems like it was thrown all together just at once, but it wasn't just that it seemed like it. It was just thrown together. WWE themselves do not know who is going to be a part of Retribution, which is why you got this huge disparity between like the sizes of the people that show up all the time.
They're
and different
all
things.
NXT and backstage catering people. We know
Yeah.
that.
But that's the problem though, because you have
But because of the fact that they don't know who it is, it's just like, all right, we're having these guys go out there and do this stuff. And if you listen to some of the other people within the actual wrestling community, they're comparing it to like early Riot Squad type stuff. Where it is, they haven't really done anything major. Like the most major thing they've done is throw that cinder block through the glass. That was it. Other than that, it's just been like, oh, look, we flipped the announce table over and now we're cheering and all this other stuff. But the way they're acting is just like, all right, one of the names that popped out right from the start is one of the leaders of Retribution was Ciampa. Would Ciampa do that? The way that he was at, the way the guy was at? No. So it's just like, it's like, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring back that feeling of when the Nexus debuted. To try and bring back that chaotic feel of the NWO when they were actually like the threatening NWO. When they actually started up in WCW and it was only like a couple of them. And they were actually beating the living hell out of everybody with like hammers and shit.
Which
like,
is what I think they like you said, they have to get more gritty. They can't
yeah,
be Panic at the Disco. Like
not.
we need Metallica, we need Slayer, like we need
And
somebody to get somebody
I
beat
didn't peep
Nintendo
it
stick.
today. I didn't peep it today, and I didn't watch Raw on Monday, so I didn't catch it then either. But last week on SmackDown, somebody spotted TV 14.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So you're already setting it up and you're prepping yourself, and you've already got the thing changed to the point where, all right, I can expand myself because of the fact that we've already changed the age rating on this thing. All right, it's no longer PG. Now we have our TV 14 rating. That means we have more ability to go out and do all of this extra stuff to cause all of this extra chaos. Maybe somebody sheds a little bit of blood. We don't have to worry about dropping, shit or bitch all the time in order to, get a feud or something going. Now we can get a little bit more crazy with it. All right. But plan it out. Don't just try and throw stuff at the wall and see if it's no, plan this mess out. If you're gonna go out here and you're gonna debut a faction that's actually gonna be a threat to the WWE, sit down and think. Who are we gonna put in this faction first and foremost? And then what the hell is their goal?
I mean, there's two things that are already wrong with this faction, right? They said WWE is going to be debuting a new faction, right? We're all waiting, and it gets announced on Twitter.
3.
Right?
3.
That's my first issue.
Because why the hell did you announce beforehand that they were going to be doing that?
That's 2. And what was the last thing I was going to say? They haven't. It's like they like you said, they haven't done anything of any real significance.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, they come and they flip tables, they trash,
and next
whatever. Yeah, I mean, like they're being a nuisance, but then 2, they also haven't attacked anyone of any consequence.
Besides tonight,
they didn't attack anyone of any consequence tonight, though.
Braun Strowman.
And then Braun Strowman turns around and punches Drew Gulak, which nullifies that. And they use it as a distraction for AJ Styles to kick Jeff Hardy in the knee and still drop the title.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is
that was dumb.
Yeah, like nothing they do has any consequence to it.
And there's my other third one. Why do they resemble the hacktivist?
Because they're trying to throw everybody off of the fact that they just dropped that damn story.
But my whole thing is you could have kept using the story, because if you just combine the 2 stories, both stories make sense.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm just saying. They dropped the damn story, and they're just like, hey, listen,
and it's
this
like,
might be
no one's cut a
before.
promo. No one knows who leadership is. No one, like, they're basically what white people think black people who riot are. Like,
yeah.
This sounds like Vince McMahon, like, I think Donald will get a laugh at this one. Huh. See, Donald? I get humor. Like, that's what it sounds like. It's like a Vince and Donald knee slapper over Twitter, and it's like, this is not funny.
Yo, the funniest thing that the reason I'm sitting up here dying, the fact you said that somebody actually brought that up, and it was just like that they think that this is how Vince McMahon views the riots.
That's because that's what it looks like. Like, if you're gonna take like the Rodney King riots and like the Mike Brown riots, and like you get the little videos from like teenagers who are just taking stupid phone videos of people rioting, like that's what it looks like. Like, I'm waiting for the shirtless black guy with the baggy pants that's yellow running through the, like, I'm waiting for that to just happen in the middle of a match.
It'd be R-Truth. He'll do it.
Yeah. Listen, imagine though, like seriously though, imagine R-Truth is the leader of Retribution.
I
can't even get it out. Because it could be really dope and also really terrible.
Put some respect on the first TNA champion, Ron the Truth Killings.
I mean, what is he? 47-time 24/7 champion now.
It's getting there. I think he's still in the 30s, but it's getting there.
It's like late 30s, gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, just back to the NXT thing. It's like, unless Karrion Kross is the leader of this whole thing, like, it doesn't make sense for them. Like, it would make sense for the match to end with, like, Retribution attacking Keith Lee. Like, that's the only way I can say, like, this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you tie in the two, and Karrion Kross is revealed as one of the members, and they are carried off into the sunset, and he's on SmackDown, and it's neat, and it's clean, and it gives you a built-in storyline for whenever you decide to call Lee up.
I don't know.
But
as far as I'm concerned.
But here's the thing, though. The kicker in this is Triple H said something very, very interesting, where he said in the draft this year it's going to reflect our views on NXT as a brand, which means it's not going to be Raw and SmackDown. It's going to be Raw, SmackDown, NXT in the draft. So that's also something to look into.
So Roman Reigns to NXT's in.
I mean, in 2022, maybe.
Roman Reigns to NXT.
At this point, it wouldn't even surprise me if Roman Reigns is an at-home correspondent for the next year. So.
Yep. He's going to take over Renee Young's spot. He's going to be the head of Talking Smack.
We're not even. Okay. That's Bayla and Xavier Woods. Okay. We're not taking that away from them. Also, I think that they're going to try to use Xavier Woods the way they did with Daniel Bryan.
You think so?
Whatever. Because the only other person that is as good, if not better, on the mic in that type of situation than The Miz and Daniel Bryan is Xavier Woods. Like, there's no other choice for this. And the only issue is right now is that all the mid-card champions are baby faces at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going through my little mental list, and there really isn't.
There's no one else as good on the mic as Xavier Woods. Like, right now, he's the Paul Heyman of WWE.
I would say if you go raw, unfiltered, like no script, no nothing, Roman, then yeah. But Roman's not coming back, so that's whatever. I'm just saying. Like, that's probably the closest you have.
Roman's coming back in 2022 at the earliest. At the very earliest. Maybe Royal Rumble 2022. I don't see him coming back anytime soon.
Nah.
At least not until there's a vaccine.
And more power to him for doing so.
Yeah, I mean, his situation, 1,000% warranted.
Like he came out and said that, mind you, I think this is a little bit of bullshit on his part, but he came out and said that it's not him being compromised, immunocompromised. It's more him looking out for the fact that he has young kids,
and he just had
his
twins.
wife had just had babies. Like I said, I think that's a bit a part of it, that he's just trying to put that fluff out there. Like, okay, no, y'all don't have to worry about me. It's just for the family. When I'm pretty sure that he is a little compromised.
I mean, I think he's compromised, but I also think they needed, in a way, they needed to rebuild Roman Reigns' mystique. It's kind of the same thing with Charlotte Flair, that thankfully she got the surgery, and that's a way to write her off. But people needed a break from both of them.
Yeah.
And even though, because right now, we all know they're the face of the company. That's obvious.
People got a break from him during his leukemia. And
look at the pop he got when he got back.
Right. And the thing was, too, they weren't forcing him down our throats when he came back.
No, he got over completely on its own.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I get it. He was in line to be the Universal Champion and blah, blah, blah. But Roman Reigns versus freaking The Fiend would have been terrible. It would have been absolutely abysmal. At least with Braun, I don't 100% like it, but there's some context.
Yes.
And it's Braun.
History.
There's history and there's through line. Because now you have it where you can now turn Braun back into the monster, and he's no longer a child's play toy. Even though shaving him bald was a little excessive and very Big Show.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I don't know.
It's too Big Show. But at the same time, having him turn on Alexa Bliss and then having Alexa Bliss do this weird character transformation, like, you're building more than one person through this, and in a lot of ways, you're like, what they did with the Fiend today was really corny, but it was predictable, but it was also well done.
Yeah, I saw that happen in the moment they put him into the ambulance. I saw it happen a little bit different.
I still think that instead of just the ambulance going red, the entire section should have gone red to make it seem like he's very much otherworldly.
I would have liked it if they did continue to start the way it did. When it got to the like garage door opener, it stopped right there. It didn't back up. It just stopped. And then they were doing the red smoke. You're like, what the heck is going on? And they open it, and all you see is the smoke, and then you see him pop out, and everybody gets scared.
Yeah, it's like he almost kind of like crawls out, as in like emerging from some kind of other dimension. Not like, Iron Man standing there like dun, 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 like he looked too superhero-y for me.
Yeah, it was too much for me.
Like I needed Freddy Krueger, Friday, like Nightmare on Elm Street, not,
I like the idea, I just didn't like the execution.
Yeah, the execution was...
I mean, it didn't help that you had such piss poor acting from the other people that were in the area.
Yeah, no. Why did they need to stop putting the cameras on the extras? Stop. They did... No. Stop it. Stop it.
Either that or give
characters.
Either that or give them some actual direction as to, like, if you're gonna go out there and you're gonna have a horror movie-esque character like The Fiend, then you need to have people reacting to the horror movie-esque character. One of the things that, people were talking about, you remember a couple of weeks ago, The Fiend attacked Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were, like, stupidly upset by that, and I don't mean stupidly as in this is stupid. I mean, like, majorly, like, this was massive how people were reacting to it. The reason being was because Alexa Bliss, I had no idea this woman could act the way that she did. She sold horror movie girl like an actual horror movie girl. She was sitting there, the whole look on her face, like she was like the trembling, everything. But you got these guys out here. I forget the dude's name, but he's the bald dude that was there, the one that was yelling at the ambulance. I can't remember his name. But he was back there, and he was just like, throwing a fit back there, waiting for them to leave. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. And then on top of that, when he came back, now you got the camera focused in on him directly. And he's just like, no. Oh my God, no. No. I'm just like, bruh, really?
Stop. Like, yeah, it's one of those situations where it's like, don't. Just don't speak.
Unless you're, like I said, it is not an excuse, but somebody needs to be providing acting direction for these people. I've never been in any type of
WWE employs Freddie Prinze Jr. They have Fred from Scooby-Doo. Who is the most believable corny actor on the face of the planet? You have the people there to do it. It's not that hard.
I'm just like, man, listen. You have access to all kinds of different routes that you can take when it comes to bringing people in to make your stuff more believable. Like, I love Caleb Braxton to absolute the ends of the earth. Do you remember the Roman Reigns thing in the back when Rowan tipped the freaking thing over on him?
Yeah, no, that was
I'm like,
atrocious.
what are we doing?
Like, that was not the role she needed to play. She needed to do the blood curdling scream and run away. That would have been fine.
That was the dumbest thing they could have done.
And the thing is, I can almost guarantee you, Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn told her, "This is how we want you to do this."
And that's the sad part.
I'm just like, you got to be kidding me! No one acts like that.
No
Hell,
one.
if you watch, look at What Culture. Simon Miller has a segment called "Nobody Talks Like That." Because of the fact that they keep doing this stupid shit, where they keep putting these people in situations and having them, scripted to say and act certain ways that, for whatever reason, to them sounds like it's something real, but to anybody who's normal, sounds like complete shit.
That pretty much sums it up.
I don't know, man.
That's the worst and best way to put it right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's mm, mm, mm. It's like vegetables. You know you have to eat it, but you're not looking forward to it.
Yo, honestly, if I could lose weight with some friggin' steak dippers, I'd be happy.
I think it's worse than that.
Keto, bro.
It's like one of those where, like, we want to turn away. It's like a traffic accident. You want to turn away. You don't want to look, but you have no choice. You have a neck brace that forces you to watch. Luckily, it's AEW, and they're there. They're coming up. They're working. They still have a lot to work up, but they've been like a year now, I think, maybe, or two.
Yeah, they're
it's a little over a year.
Mark.
So, I mean, you still have to give them some credit. They're still working out some stuff, and I'm not blaming them. I'm not excusing them from everything, because we're not talking about like rookie wrestlers either. We're talking about veterans. But in a couple of years, if AEW is still around, I think they're going to be more trouble than they are right now.
They will be.
Oh no, I saw a video today of, you look at them, you look at what Impact has just done. For some art, they say Impact is like a freaking zombie. Like, every time you think that
you cannot kill them,
you can't kill them, because it's like they just had a hell of a Slammiversary, which is basically revamped, and it's like WWE is giving them content. They're giving them talent at this point. Sadly.
It's what happens, because the problem is, like, Vince try to kill off every indie around, so he gobbled up the superstars. That's why now he has the best roster ever, but a lot of nothing. And what happened was AEW came around as well, and AEW was like, "Oh, you're not there. Come here, come here, come here." And it came to the point, like, he's like, "I got to cut talent off." But it's like, if I cut talent, they're going over there. He was stuck. He was stuck in a hard rock place that he did to himself, And I think, unfortunately, because of all this, we're getting some of the worst stuff from WWE, but we're also getting AEW as well. So,
and you're getting you're seeing the difference in when you let the artist create versus when an artist performs under someone else's work. Because the problem with the thing that made Vince McMahon great is what is his downfall right now. Because 90s Vince McMahon was a megalomaniac, but he also had other guys that were just as manic as him, that were just as weirdly wired in such a way that it's like what everyone says about like the 90s with basketball and older football. Like these guys weren't friends. They were always competing, so they weren't afraid to go to their boss and be like, no, I'm not doing this. Like I need to do X, Y, and Z. Nowadays, everything is such a collective. You're now having a situation where you're seeing the good with AEW, but you're also seeing the bad with WWE because guys now are just it's easier for them to just take a check and do what the writers say do, hoping that one day they get the creative autonomy.
Well, here's the other thing. Because of the fact that back in the 90s, you had an established, and I mean an absolutely established threat in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
AEW right now is an alternative. It's not an established threat yet.
Correct.
And that's pretty much how they're viewing them. This is why they sat up there and they decided, all right, well, we're not going to put, Raw up against AEW. We're going to go out there and we're going to put NXT out there because NXT is, that's, although they try to call it the third brand, that's developmental. It's the pet project. Off to this is the one that's off to the side.
It's the cousin whose mama died that had to get adopted, so now there's your brother and your sister.
Yeah. That it's sitting over there in the corner. It's the redheaded stepchild for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
The redheaded stepchild is an honor student and got straight A's and a full scholarship, but it's still a redheaded stepchild. Because of the fact that there's no real flat out super direct competition, Vince McMahon is just like whatever. His hand got forced with WCW. He didn't have a choice but to go out there and, produce stuff like his back was against the wall because it was.
Well, that
on top of the fact
he also listened to a lot of his talent more.
On top of the fact that you also had the fortune of having so much talent at the exact same time. Like, if you take a look at WWE right now, you can say, okay, we have a lot of talent. WWE has quote unquote the best roster on the planet when it comes to actual talent. But at the top of the roster, take a look at, I'll always go back to Armageddon, the Armageddon Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
You had The Rock, Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, Triple H, The Undertaker, all five of them. You could legitimately take any of those five and make a Mount Rushmore of the greatest stars in history. So he had the fortune of having, that type of a lineup in his pocket at that time in the late 90s, early 2000s. On top of the fact that he had, people like Edge getting ready to come up. He had people like John Cena and Batista getting ready to come up, like Randy Orton getting ready to come up. You had all this, everything right there was so solid in how, the transitions and everything were going to be made going forward. And now, because of the fact that he's just like, all right, I have no competition, so I'm going to look at any little ant promotion that shows up and I'm just going to squash them right off the bat by just buying up as much talent as possible. Now all of this talent that he had bought up and not used and got pissed off and decided they wanted to go somewhere else, now it's just like, okay, our creative freedom had been stifled for so long. Now we're going to go to this place where we can actually express that creative freedom.
And that's the other thing too, is he got complacent.
Yep.
After WWE died, and that time loop, the time span between that time and now, when AEW is, it's like you have nothing else to watch on TV.
Yo,
I will put out whatever you want, and you can.
WCW folded damn near 20 years ago at this point. 20 years with almost 20 years without legit competition.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like he's 20 years in the past.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. He doesn't have to worry about competition. Because like I'm trying to say, you're going to watch it because there's nothing else to watch. What are you going to watch? TNA? Good luck trying to figure out.
TNA tried to go up against him and they got killed.
Well, here's the thing. Good luck trying to figure out who's broadcasting TNA.
That's
they keep
true.
switching channels.
Yep.
You know, like they were on Discover America and Spike, and I don't even know what channel. I don't know where they're at now. So
they decided to bring Russo in, which didn't help anything or anybody.
Yeah. So it's like got to a point where like, all right, who are you gonna watch? Indies? How are you gonna watch them unless they're in your area?
Mm-hmm.
TNA? Good luck trying to figure out what channel they're on. You're gonna watch what I put out, and that's it. And he's like, I'm putting out shit because it doesn't matter. You're gonna eat what I give you.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about it is, like, if you listen to the people around him, they will swear up and down that Vince McMahon is not trying to put out crap. They will say they'll just be like, "Yo, he legitimately thinks that this is good." And if that's the case,
it's time to
go, bro.
You gotta put yourself off to pasture, bro.
It's time to go.
Like if he thinks what he's putting out is, and again, I commend the talent because they like the Monday Night Messiah thing was stupid,
and Seth Rollins made the absolute best of it.
Yep, made the best of it. What I like about the storytelling, at the very least, is they're starting to mention it more. It's every single person the Fiend touches. Now it's every single person the Fiend touches.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed.
Yep.
So
to the opposite of what they were.
Yeah. Or in his words, their true self.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I like that bit of storytelling, but that's Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his last name and his wrestling history allowing him to do this, because when Vince tried to book him, they buried the Wyatt family. So Vince knows he can't book him, but he also knows he's money. So you have no other choice but to let that hand go.
That's like give him the creative freedom and allow him to run with it.
Yeah,
you saw before Fiend actually debuted, he actually did everything himself. Yep. Everything, all of those episodes of the Firefly Funhouse that were leading up to the Fiend's debut was all Bray. There was no input from anyone but him. And that's the type of craziness that you get when you allow people to actually express themselves rather than, working in this bottleneck tunnel that's Vince McMahon.
And again, I feel like WWE has run into the problem that they're so big and Vince is so focused on being a global brand that the part of the company that got you to where you are is now suffering because you've incorporated it too much. You've turned it into a corporation and it's no longer entertainment. If that makes sense.
It does.
Like and that's like you lose. You get all these people. Like the whole point of WWE's brand is to get people to watch their weekly shows.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with their weekly shows, it's just becoming an infomercial of what it used to be and what got you to be the global brand, instead of keeping it fresh and keeping it new and always changing in it. Because it's like now you're doggy paddling with stones on your hands and your feet, where you're barely staying above water. And then AEW comes out of nowhere, steals your best stars, steals guys that you've kind of gotten rid of. They're like, oh no, they're trash, and everyone knows they're not trash. So it's like, and then they give them creative freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, damn, Vince, like if I didn't, and also, sorry to say, John Moxley has a point. Don't write these people scripts. Don't do that. Stop. Your promo classes is for you to be able to do you from whatever character base. It's basically improv. It's improv on steroids. The only thing that should be scripted is the two people that are there and the transitions. There should be a word, a line, or something so that they know what transitions are going on. But they should have the freedom to, like, the only other person right now I think that has creative freedom and is actually making herself a star, and unfortunately this had to happen to her, was Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville has full creative freedom. To all her promos recently, when she started talking, they gave her full autonomy. That's why it's been so good. And unfortunately, she's probably going to have to take an extended leave because of everything that's going on.
That's annoying because, like, yeah, it's like, what's the point of taking promo classes with like Dusty Rhodes, you know, and all these
Shawn Michaels, like, if you can't use it,
and learning from them, when at the end of the day you're just gonna be a piece of paper.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, give me bullet points. If you want me to actually touch on certain things, you know, during this promo that you're, you know, having me do, fine. All right. Don't put people out there with a script, right?
That they have like all of 10 minutes to memorize.
Because they be sitting up there with I know what their problem is. They don't want people to get over when they don't want them to get over.
Nope.
So if I go out there and you tell me to cut a promo about Benadryl or something, I just picked out the first thing that I saw and it's sitting over there on my TV stand. But if matter of fact, we were talking about it before we started up, the Jamie Foxx thing.
Right.
You give me a promo to write about antibiotic, and I drop a rap like that girl does. I get over. But you didn't want me to get over. You wanted me to go out there and be a clown because that's the character that you saw me in. But now there's this problem because now I done gone out there and I done turned myself into a fucking G instead of being, the court jester.
Is it really a problem though? Because that's exactly
it is for them.
But that part of it doesn't make sense to me because literally how John Cena became John Cena.
But that was
literally
backstage.
How it happened.
That was backstage, and honestly, it was because Stephanie got that. It wasn't something that the fans got.
That's fair.
So just because in the same vein, you can sit up there and talk about Zack Ryder, how Zack Ryder got himself over, and it got completely just destroyed in the aftermath.
Right.
Because he wasn't supposed to get over.
Yeah. But see, that's the issue with that is, again, if the people that you want to get over and the stories that you want to tell suck, don't keep telling the same damn story. Don't keep pushing the same narrative. They suck.
All right. Pretty much this comes up and brings up Rusev, Miro.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you heard, he went on Ryback's podcast and said, I talked to Vince, and Vince pretty much said, "Oh, my stuff isn't selling because people are following me. It's selling because it's just there. People are buying it up, but they didn't make no more." And he's like, the gimmick sucked, everything. Like he destroyed Rusev. He says that the fans were just fucking with him. They were just messing with him. He wasn't really over with the fans, which is messed up because he really, to be honest,
he was over.
He was over.
And what he went on there and said, there were two things that came out. Was that he was just like, the fans aren't, they're laughing at you. Yeah. They're not out there. You're not getting over. And the other thing was, he went out there. I believe this was Rusev. He went out there and said, "Yeah, Vince, my my shirts been sold out." And Vince was just like, "Well, I guess we just didn't make enough of them." It's not that my shirts sold out because I'm over. It's just like, oh well, there just weren't enough of them. Mm-hmm. So it is another one of those situations where he didn't want this guy to get over. It's kind of the same thing like how they started doing the Lana Lashley thing, because Vince, for whatever reason, him and Paul Heyman's thing is the fact that he just likes this stupid shit. But Vince, the reason why he okayed it is because it's just like, I can't see how this woman is with that man.
Yeah.
So it's
He's
I
got a
don't know,
messed up
man.
mind. I mean, like a real like I get it, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Where his mind goes is messed up. It's like it doesn't work. It doesn't. And I wonder what he thinks of sometimes, where he's going with, how it's supposed to work out. Because it to me, when I look at it, I'm like that doesn't work. But whatever. Where I was going with, I was talking with somebody and he kept saying, "Oh yeah, take it with a grain of salt because he's probably just bitter." I'm like, "Why is he bitter?" Oh, if you talk to like say Roman Reigns and John Cena and these guys, they'll say the opposite. Yeah, they will because they were put over. When you're talking about people like Rusev and others like him that actually got over on their own, and were put down, what do you expect them to be? You know, it's not that they're mad and bitter. It's just that they're upset because they actually had organic love from the crowd, but they weren't given the proper stage to work off of it because Vince didn't okay it because Vince has this pettiness that if he doesn't create your push, it ain't real. It's
Right.
fucking.
Which is one of the reasons why I honestly can't get with Booker T when he has his little wannabe takes that come out on his podcast. Now, mind you, I like Booker T, all right, but the coon shit that he's been coming out with has been it. I just cannot get with it. What he said about Naomi, when they originally came out with, when they were talking about the karaoke segment, talking about, oh well, I'm not getting tired of all these hashtags. If it's just your job to get yourself over and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, sure, it is my job to get myself over, but if I'm giving chicken shit, I mean, it's not. You're not supposed to be able to make chicken soup out of that.
Not to
Some
mention,
people can, but if you put me in a position to succeed, then I'm gonna succeed.
Booker T is also still stuck in a bygone era.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking that, the old way of wrestling, if you can't get yourself over, then that's on you. And it's like, no. Because had Booker T, let's keep it a buck, had Booker T not already been established, he would have been a jobber.
Yep.
He would be what we see from R-Truth now.
Yeah.
Speaking
I mean,
of,
look what they did to him. Who are you? Huh? Who? Like, come on, man. That was disrespectful.
now my thing about that though, that was The Rock. The Rock does that to everybody. I'm not that I wasn't worried about. My thing with him coming out talking all this bullshit, WrestleMania 19. So you're gonna take one pedigree, you're gonna lay on the ground for 20 some odd seconds while Triple H decides to crawl over to you and then pin you and then stay down, but you think that that's okay? Nah, bruh. No, because it legitimately took you 3 years to gain yourself back.
And was never WWE champion.
Never WWE, right?
No, just WCW.
Okay,
That's it.
he held the world title.
Of course he held the world
because that's not they built.
Yeah, it's WCW's built. He had already held it before, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Built the whole gimmick out of holding it a number of times. But I mean, again, notice Kofi was a Vince McMahon guy too. He was the character Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston went through WWE's whole circuit. So to put the strap on him and to make him the first, black wrestler to hold the the first full-blooded black wrestler, I should say, African American, to hold the title is very Vince. Because again, many have come before that have done it themselves, a la Booker T, that should have had it.
Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
But never did. and both guys ended up being very successful mid-card acts. Because, I mean, I don't even remember a lot of times Booker T fought for the WWE/WWF title. Like, I don't remember him being in that picture.
I honestly don't think he ever has. I think it's
And
always
it's
been the whole time.
like you don't see what they did to you, and you think that was just, oh, that's just the way the business works. And it's like, but they could put it on Mark Henry, who was also a Vince McMahon guy. Or at least they gave Mark Henry a push after he went out and did his own thing and created the strongman persona after winning in the Olympics. Like, no one sees a pattern here.
There is a pattern. It's that he doesn't want to accept it. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just like, Booker. That's my thing. Where Booker T's a guy I take with a grain of salt. Like, sometimes he does have some very good takes.
Yeah.
But most times it's like, okay, like, he's that uncle that talks about conspiracy theories. Like, that's really what he is. He's that uncle at the cookout that you're just like, all right. He's had way too many beers. I'm gonna walk away before I punch this guy in the face.
You know what Booker T is to me? Booker T is an Italian sharpshooter.
That's fair. That's a very fair comparison.
Yeah.
That's fair. It's just
he's not as bad as the Rock sharpshooter, but he is an Italian sharpshooter.
If you don't understand what you're saying, go look up Bret the Hitman Hart sharpshooter, then go look at Natalya's sharpshooter.
And mind you, the only reason why I bring this up, and I'm speaking to our audience right now, the only reason why I bring this up like this in a negative light is because Natalya is a heart. There is no reason why she should not be able to execute that move perfectly. And every single time she does it, it's terrible. I have no training as a wrestler whatsoever. Right? I can perform the sharpshooter and the scorpion deathlock, the exact same damn move, different legs, perfectly.
It ain't that hard.
Why the fuck can she not do it? It hurts me. Mentally, physically, emotionally, it destroys my spirit when she does the sharpshooter because I know she should be able to do it better than that. My favorite superstar of all time, The Rock. Every time he did the sharpshooter, I wanted to choke him. I was like, you jackass, stop destroying this move. I don't know, man. Y'all can't be hurting my favorite finisher of all time.
But yeah, so it's been 2.5 hours.
Hey man, look, it's been a minute since we didn't got together. We're gonna be together tomorrow, but we had to get some rants out there.
It's a lot of rants. Like I said, we'll be going live once in a while, and stay tuned and watch on Facebook. Because those will be just on Facebook. They're not going to be on YouTube. YouTube will be our predictions, reviews, and all that. But live will be more of our like rants and bits going off. That'll be coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. Because I absolutely, definitely have something to say about that Sonya Deville situation.
Yeah. So with that, everybody, thank you for joining us. Till next time, which will be for the SummerSlam preview
tomorrow.